Greetings from the black holes of Dakota Territory, United States of Advertising. Stan Gibilisco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV Whiskey 1 Good Vibrations at your service to show you a special website. That is my Amazon Author Central page. And the purpose of this video is to show you a few books on mathematical topics which I have written especially with the idea of preparing you for study in books such as Teach Yourself Electricity and Electronics, or other electronics books that I have written. Some of you have expressed difficulty with the mathematics. Here's another example, Electricity Demystified. This happens to be the Kindle edition page. I prefer the paper books, the paper-bound books for technical topics, because oftentimes the technical diagrams and formulas and tables get messed up in electronics, or electronics, physics, and technical books. Electronics Demystified, another example which has some mathematics in it, which you can use if you read some of the books I'm about to show you here. Let's just go through these and look at them. Everyday Math Demystified, that's a good one for starters. Now I have provided a link to my Amazon Author Central page, so you'll find all of these books there and can look inside of them, so that you can decide whether or not you want to buy them or steal them by means of pirate websites, which I wish you wouldn't do, honestly. I've got to make a living, don't I? Otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me yammer into YouTube anymore. Trigonometry Demystified. Now these are the second editions, which I should hope are improvements over the first editions. Trigonometry is a very, very much used subject in electronics, so I highly recommend that you get and read this book. Let's keep going. There's Teach Yourself Electricity and Electronics, the book that I have been asked the most about. Geometry Demystified, well, that I don't know if you're going to need that quite so much. Statistics Demystified, maybe not so much either. Let's go to the next page. Physics Demystified, definitely a good read. Again, the second edition will help prepare you for electronics, and it'll also be a good read if you're interested in physics. Wouldn't you know it? Who'd have thunk it? Logic Demystified, not so much for electronics, although there is a little bit in this book about digital electronics. Digital, the magic word nowadays. You're listening to a digital code in the background, which I call WSJT stuff. Synchronous digital communications, which provides an excellent signal-to-noise ratio even under the most adverse conditions. If you're interested in more practical aspects of electricity and electronics, you can get this book, Electricity Experiments You Can Do at Home. You're going to laugh at the breadboard that I built to do the experiments in this book, but you're also going to find it easy to work with if you've got fat fingers, as I have. Pre-calculus know-it-all. That's a pretty good one for preparing yourself for the mathematics you'll need. It's a little more advanced, though. It's not actual calculus very much, but it will give you a solid mathematics foundation, along with Algebra Demystified, which is further on down the line. Calculus Demystified, you're not going to need that for Teach Yourself in Electricity and Electronics. Algebra Know-It-All, if you like the theoretical aspect of mathematics, if you enjoy mathematics in its own right, Algebra Know-It-All is a great starter because I decided that I was going to play the teacher of the theoretical mathematician of the future. God bless all you theoreticians. Mastering Technical Mathematics, a great preparatory book for Teach Yourself Electricity and Electronics and my other electronics books, and Physics Demystified as well. If you like advanced physics, you can go to that one. Audio. Some people have criticized this as being old-fashioned stuff, but it isn't really going to do you any good for mathematical preparation. Anyway, alternative energy. Well, I don't pull any punches with this book. If I think that gasoline is the best alternative energy-wise to get from point A to point B, I'll tell you so. Technical Math Demystified, an ideal preparatory text that I have written for theoretical work such as alternating current theory and other such beautiful subjects, which I have a little story someday I'll tell you about those alternating current theory chapters in Teach Yourself Electricity and Electronics, which the 4th edition appears here. Sorry about the cough. Comes with the Toratary. I recommend you get the 5th edition. Meteorology Demystified, well, if you like to read about hurricanes and stuff like that, great. Math Proofs Demystified, you won't need that kind of thing for the applied mathematics that you're going to encounter in Teach Yourself. Electricity Demystified, now these are the 1st editions now. We're getting back further in time, the most recent books here being 1st. So I've shown you then the ones that I consider the most significant, and with that, of course, what you are preparing for, most of those of you who have queried me about mathematics, is this particular book right here, Teach Yourself Electricity and Electronics, 5th edition. Again, I do not recommend the electronic book version of any technical book. I recommend the paperback version. And you can find it right there. And you can look inside. Decide whether you actually want to even bother to buy this masterpiece of my career. Well, you can look inside if the doggone thing's responsive enough. This is a preview. The number of pages is limited. Copyrighted material. Don't you dare violate my copyright. I'll come get you and whip you with a wet piece of wire insulation. Teach Yourself Electricity and Electronics, courtesy of the website of Stan Gibilisco, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV Whiskey 1. Good vibrations from the black holes of Dakota Toratary, United States of Advertising. Stan Gibilisco saying 73 for now, and so long until the next little yamma.